Happy Saturday, family. How's everyone doing tonight or morning, whatever time it is on your side? So I was going to do a skincare chit chat, but I actually already did everything. So I figured, okay, let me just come on and check in on all of you. I really hope you're all doing well. I pray that you're all safe, you're taking it easy, you're trying your best. And let me just say that there's a lot of stuff happening right now. My sincere prayers and love to my Iranian brothers and sisters. You know who you are. I pray that everyone will be safe. I pray for everyone in Palestine. I pray for everyone in Israel. I pray for everyone here in the United States. I pray for everyone in South America. It doesn't matter where you're from. What matters is if there's any type of conflict where you're at, my prayers are with you. For my beautiful African brothers and sisters across the nations there, my prayers are with you as well. As you may or may not know about me, I don't really talk politics on social media. I try to be very careful in how I approach certain topics because it's very sensitive, and I never want to say anything that could make someone feel uncomfortable or trigger them in any kind of way. So I just like to give my prayers and my love to everyone, and I acknowledge everyone because there's not one person or nation of people that are going through something, okay? And it doesn't always have to be mainstream. It is just life. So I always want to make sure I acknowledge everyone. How are you doing? How are you feeling? Are you feeling okay? I hope that you're doing well. I hope that you are taking good care of yourself to the best of your ability. It's really, really hard, friends, to focus on ourselves when there's so many things happening around us, right? And that it doesn't always have to be outside things. It could be things within ourselves as well. Also to offer some words of wisdom and comfort. It may not seem like much, but you know, I love each and every one of you. I care about each and every one of you. So let's take a deep breath together. Let's start with that. Please repeat after me. Breathe in, breathe out. Breathe in, breathe out. One more time. Breathe in, breathe out. Yes. This is something that I try to do every single day. I close my eyes. I just release all the tension in my body, in my mind, and just try to focus on the moment and where we are right now. And if you're watching this video, I hope you're doing the same thing, because as adults, it's really hard. It's really hard to have our own personal difficulties and our own internal struggles, and then we have life, and then we have what's going on around us. It is very, very hard. So I want to make sure that you know that you are not alone. You may feel alone, but you're not alone. And let me just say to all of you right now that everything I share here is what I tell myself, okay? There are many times I feel alone. I know, may seem shocking, right? It's always us bubbly, happy, loving, giving people that tends to feel the loneliest. And I'm going to tell you why. When you're a giver, you put yourself secondary. You give to everyone, but you don't give enough to yourself. And when you learn how to do that, it feels very uncomfortable because you feel like you're betraying that part of you who's so used to giving to people. And so the idea of pouring back into yourself feels like, why? I'm here to give to you. I can worry about me later, right? And I'm here to tell you, friends, you can't really do that. You know, at least try not to do that, because even for me, I'm learning that it's okay to pour that back into me. The other thing as a giver, but this is really funny one, is we tend to be lonely. Yeah, we tend to be very lonely people. And it's not because we're not um, friendly people, or we're not, you know, open, or, you know, how do I say? You don't have to be extroverted necessarily. We give, we love, we open our arms, we give hugs, you know, we do all those things. But when we don't get that in return, it feels empty. We feel lonely because once people get what they get from us, they're happy and they're satisfied, and they just move on with their life, and that's fine. But then we're like, hey, what about us? The other thing is, if you are naturally a nice person and you're caring, you know, even though people may say that they appreciate that, and that maybe they do, maybe they don't, but they don't want to get close to you. And that's something I know that I can definitely relate to in my own life. People say, I love you, Dara, you're great, I appreciate you, you're beautiful. You know, anyone would be lucky to be your friend or be your man, right? But from my experiences, I don't know if that's really the case, because I do feel alone a lot of the times. I don't really have a lot of friends like that. I used to have friends, at least I thought. But then when I realized some of these individuals were not my friends, I had to let them go. Or they walked away from me, one of the two. Every time I thought I met the one or someone who really loves and cares about me, it turns out that they were either one, using me for their own gain. They were incredibly jealous of me for reasons I to this day don't even know why. I really don't know why. But I think whatever they saw in me, I probably didn't see in myself, and that's what they got jealous about. And my ex-husband definitely fits this completely. Um, and it's really unfortunate, because sometimes it's us lovey-dovey people that tends to get kind of pushed away. And then, being that I'm a vocal person, and if you're like me and you outspoken, and you say, hey, whoever the person is, why are you this way, or how come you don't come around, or how come you don't, you know, share how you feel, and then it goes, there's a silence. It hits home even more, because now you're left wondering, like, is it me, is it you, is it the situation, what is it? So, and I'm speaking very general here, but if you fall in this category, then you know what I'm talking about. And it looks different for everyone, but I can only speak for myself. So what do you do? And this is the $1,000,000 question that I'm still trying to figure out, even in therapy. I'm like, hey, Miss Therapist, what do I do? You know, it's hard. It's really, really hard. Whoever said being an adult is easy lied to us. Okay. Sometimes I wish I can go back to when I was a teenager, when the only thing that I had to really think about was, completing my homework assignments for my high school classes, and playing with my friends in the park, and in my case, picking rocks and daydreaming about being the first black geologist in the United States. No, just kidding. But I used to think this way. It was so much easier then. It's hard. It's really hard being an adult. Yeah, but there's a lot of good that comes with it as well. Talk about age for a moment. Now, I know I joke around, and I'll say, oh, I feel like an old bat, I'm an old lady, and I joke around, but I'm only 44 years old. So to some of you, I'm like a baby, right? But age is something that will change you as well. Your body changes, which is usually the first thing we notice. Okay. The other thing is, it changes your mentality. You mature, well, hopefully you mature, as not everyone does, but generally speaking, you mature, and you start to learn more about yourself, your boundaries, what you're comfortable with, what you're not comfortable with. If you are in a position, like in my case, where you're doing the inner work, this is where therapy comes in, prayer, or all of the above, right? You start to see your patterns, so to speak, things that you thought were okay to do or act or be, versus now where you realize, I could repeat that pattern, but look where it got me, right? So it's a lot of reflecting, it's a lot of soul searching, it's a lot of work, and a lot of adults just don't have the time nor the patience to go through that process, and I totally understand. um, I will say to all of you, full disclosure, I am more comfortable with the process now than I was when I was in my 20s and 30s, right? So I want you to know that if you're in a position like me, where you kind of going through a transition, you're seeing things from a different islands, right? You have different feelings maybe now than you did before. You questioning yourself about certain things. Just know that's normal. And also know that if you are not sure the path that you're on, that's normal too. Because I feel that way too. It's like, okay, what does God have in store for me? I don't know. I do believe it's something good, but I don't know exactly what it is just yet. Okay. Um, it doesn't help when you are in this process, and then the negative things of the world is presented to you, like when you watch the news, for example, or maybe you hear a bad story from your neighbor or something like that, or you get bad news about you, right? It's not easy to deal with that. And I know for me, the biggest blow to my pride and my ego was my health. When I realized that the harsh reality for me was, yes, Dar, you worked hard, and you did a good job, but you made a major sacrifice, and that was your health. So now my body is in a disarray, so to speak, and it's hard to accept that sometimes. Yeah. I'm not saying that I'm handicapped completely. I'm not saying that I can't do anything. That's not true. But I feel for those, excuse me, my nose is itching. I feel for those who are in that situation. I really do. I thank God every day I can get up and walk. I thank God that feel. I can feel, because if you feel, then you know you're alive, right? But it doesn't take away the stress. It doesn't take away the uncertainty, the questions, the curiosity, right? It's very emotional, and I miss the way my life was before the surgeries and the pain and all of that. So it's hard. So if you are going through a health crisis or a health issue, then you definitely know it looks different for all of us, but it's not easy. Loneliness really kicks in harder because, I hate to say it, people don't want to be around people who are sick, right, or going through it. But when you're happy and everything's looking good for you, it's like, hey, let's be friends, and it's unfortunate that that is the case, but such is life. Just know you're not alone. If listening to me gives you hope and makes you feel like, hey, I'm not alone, and there is at least one person on this planet that loves and cares about me and that gives a damn about me, that checks in on me, you know, I'm your girl, right? I'm happy to offer that. And if you're wondering, and I'll end on this note, well, why, Dara? I mean, don't you need love too? Don't you need care? Don't you need that poured back into you? Yes, yes, and yes. Okay. Yes, I do so much, but I can't tell people to do that. I can't make anyone do that. That has to come from your heart. You would have to want to do that, not me telling you to do that. Because in the past, when I was young and I didn't know any better, I would tell people to do that, and when they did, you could tell it wasn't genuine. It wasn't from their heart. So if you want to pour into me, if you want to show me love, I appreciate it. I accept willingly, but I would prefer that it comes from your heart, that you are genuine about that, than to pretend. Because I'm very good at picking up on people who are fake, trust me, and I cannot stand fakeness with a passion. So I want friends. I want to know that I'm cared about. I want to know that I matter. I want to know that if I were to disappear tomorrow, that I would be missed. I want to know that I'm actually loved, and I hope. I hope for that. I still have hope in that, and I pray on it, and we'll see what happens. But all we can do is try our best. I hope this check-in resonates with someone. I hope that, it gives you hope. Feel free to share my content. You're always welcome to. It's not just because of social media, but it's just a way to get the message out. So you're welcome to share this video. I love you all so very much, and I really mean that. I don't say that just for likes and views. Okay, I don't care about that. If I say I care about you, I genuinely do. And for those of you who know me offline, then you can definitely in the comments say, she's telling the truth, y'all. And I'll see you in the next video. Thank you so much for your support always. And I look forward to the next check-in with you.